You see, the coin can show you the short-term benefits for a long-term achievement. But those short-term benefits, you'll find that they will take over your long-term plan by saying, I have to wake up, I need to wash, clean, go to work, come back.
Thank you very much for joining us in yet another amazing episode of the Motivational Maniac podcast. It is yours truly, the Maniac, Tando Ngonyana. On the Motivational Maniac podcast, I do have a guest on this episode, one that I've been actually looking forward to. I do have a few questions that I had kind of lined up for him, but I'll start off on the note of being appreciative, first of all, for the time that he provided. I couldn't have asked for a better person to be on the podcast, because I'm also trying to discover how important it is, the people that I do meet on my journey through the concrete jungle, and also the valuable lessons in which I'm learning as I go through it. Luyanda has been someone very pivotal in reminding me of how it's important for me not to sleep on my own greatness. And at one point, I had been faced with difficulty, and he pointed me back to myself, and I couldn't forget how important was it for me to work my plan and plan my work. But ultimately, it all lead up to who will I decide to be in order to get what I want. And such company is one that I hold dear, in such a sense that I don't get so many opportunities to have people that give me food for thought, especially about life entirely. Because living is very complex. But whenever I'm in his company, I do get a sense of self-responsibility and how important it is for me to focus on what I'm throwing out there, because eventually that energy will come back. So I just had these few questions that Luyanda I'd like, first of all, to dwell on for the next hour. Hopefully we're going to get through more. Who has been the most influential person in your journey, and why would that person be the most influential person?
First and foremost, I'd like to greet the audience, and Kamalam Luyanda, Sidiya, reside in Kukuletu. It is very important, firstly, to acknowledge those who came before you and those who are currently in your life, and understand that there is many parts given question that Tano just asked right now. Firstly, the most important person in my life is the person that gave birth to me and the person that gave birth to him. You know, you can call it art, you can call it your biological history or whatsoever, but it's a reference to what we call right now God, because everything leads to the one God that created you. I'm not sure how other people interpret that, through different religions. You'll find that one has certain ceremonial practices or arts that they practice to bring about their own understanding of what the person that has an influence onto what they do in everyday practice. Okay, so I would say that is my father, firstly, and his father, and the father before that. That's my God. I'm not saying that's correct or not correct. Everyone is open to their own interpretation of what their God is, understand? So, in a nutshell, I'll say my lineage, that's my God right there. So, that's the most important person and people in my life. And obviously the current living ones, which is my sisters, my brothers, and everybody else. When it comes to why they're important, remember, indlela yazwa kwabayi yambileyo, which transfers to those that have walked the journey will give you a basic understanding of how long that journey is. That, for me, in a nutshell, explains a lot in terms of who I am and what I am capable of, in terms of what I can do with what I have, than saying what you can gain from what you have learned outside yourself, which totally contradicts your ability. I'll make an example for you. I can tell you now, for you to qualify to get 10 rand, you have to run 100 meters within 4 seconds. Now, to compare that to a car, it's easy to achieve. But for you as a person, as a living being, you have physical limits that won't allow you to reach that. Therefore, you can spend a half of your life trying to achieve something that you'll never achieve, based on the fact that you don't understand your limitations. So, I don't want to dwell deep onto that, but then that's the why element on why I needed people to know that the people that influence me in my journey.
Thank you very much for that answer. Throughout your journey, what book, podcast, or perhaps resource would you significantly say has impacted your approach towards life and also work?
It's basic things, Tando. There's the environment that plays a pivotal role in terms of who you are and how you're brought up and how you flourish in life. Then that is served by the eyesight. The eye will tell you that this is where you should go, this is how you should do things, this is how you should react to certain things. That it's called environmental scan. You do that as a baby. Before you learn how to talk, you mimic, you watch the lips and the sound and you mimic that to get a response. That's communication. Then in terms of a podcast, that's the ear. You can't say you have learned from one source. There's a lot of sources. Your mom is a source. Your sister is a source. Every person, even your baby, your kid can teach you something that you've never thought that, they can teach you. So, and also podcasts, I also learn a lot from them because it's an opinion of another person perspective. It helps you to grow, especially if you are a knowledge-based person. You get to understand, oh, listen, I've been building this house using the right material, but using the wrong season. So if you understand the season, then you understand that you can actually progress much faster building that particular structure within that given time. Yeah, so the book, it has to be Things Fall Apart.
And who's writing that book?
It's Ochebe. It's from Nigeria. It's a guy who based his he bases a book on a foundation of Africanism. Then he shows you what wealth does in terms of power struggle. But before he does that, he shows you the environment in which you take those decisions. You understand? So I think it would be a fine read for a person who's an African. Firstly,
what would you define as an African?
An African is a person who understands what it is to live in Africa, with its dynamics, with its different cultures, with its different languages.
So basically the ability to maneuver through the diversity.
Exactly. That's what it means. Because I always make this an example. I can greet 10 men in English today, and then we share a meal and we separate, and then we separate after that. The chances are we're never going to remember each other. I might remember your name, but your personality is as good as me seeing you on Facebook. But if I greet 10 men using their mother language and ask where they're from in their mother language, those people will remember me for a very long time. It has nothing to do with the fact that I was using English. It has to do with that I touched that person on his mother tongue. So that book gives you that perspective.
It's making things personal.
Yeah.
In a sense. That's why Africans thrive so much on preserving their culture, because we know it's a personal thing.
Yeah, but then again, it gets distorted by the coin. You see, the coin can show you the short-term benefits for a long-term achievement. But those short-term benefits, you'll find that they will take over your long-term plan by saying, I have to wake up, I need to wash, clean, go to work, come back. Remember, you work the whole month, which is 30 days, 29 days, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you get paid one day.
For working all those days.
All those days. Now, if you're trying to build a family using that methodology, which is the coin, you'll find that you literally deviate from your plan to the maker of the coin. Meaning you're not going to achieve much on real earth than numbers. So if you achieve numbers, let's say you become a billionaire through your God. Now, what is it that you have achieved besides nothing? Because you have achieved nothing. You spend all your life trying to get the number that will make you comfortable, that you'll never achieve. It's almost like you asked me the question of success. What is success to you whatsoever? You can never reach perfection. Perfection is success. So in those terms, you can never achieve perfection or success. Remember, if you say you're successful, meaning you can beat death because you're successful on implementing what would help you live in abundance. So if you can't cheat death, you can't really be successful. It only means that's why Indians, Muslims, they pray on being content with what you have, giving thanks for the little that you have every day. So it's almost like you sleep. When you sleep, you give thanks. Then when you wake up, uyabulela. When you wake up, then you are grateful when you sleep. So there's a lean time, meaning there's a time where you have no consciousness, you're just breathing. That time is not your time, that's God's time. So tell me, which time does success comes into that? Where do you say, okay, now I'm successful? Where exactly? Because you wake up every day, you go to the fields, go plow the land, get your milk and get your vegetables, your corn, get one chicken and an egg, grind that up, make food. That's pretty much what humans do every day. So where exactly are you successful? Where?
Had me thinking about this thing that you just mentioned about you basically are chasing after nothing because you're chasing a number.
Yeah, you're chasing a number. That's what you're doing. The reason why you go to work every day is because they told you at the end of that, at the end of your 30 days commitment, we're going to give you this number with an R.
And that's the currency.
That's the currency. So
going back on that coin.
Yeah.
Where it becomes distorted.
It doesn't really distort the timeline. It distorts your reality to say this is important.
Would you say it's kind of also something like the carrot being dangled in front of the donkey?
I think we kind of lost touch with it when you started comparing it to something that it's not. You can't use nothing to buy something. I'll make an example. Once you take money, then you compare it to land. You took nothing from nothing. You gave it a name. Then you kind of said it's equivalent to something that you were born on. Your parents were born on it. Everybody that you know is working on it. Now you get that away. You give that away, and then you grab a hold of a. I always make this joke. Once upon a time, there was a ship that came, and everybody on it had a Bible. When those people docked, they looked at everybody who had abundance of everything. Water, they had animals, everything. They were plowing the land. They handed over all the books that they had on the ship. At the end of the day, the people who were reading those Bibles ended up with nothing.
Is this the African story?
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Don't put words on my mouth. I'm just saying what it is. Anyway, let's move on to your story.
Yeah, let's move. Because this was actually based on the book that you had mentioned with Things Fall Apart.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then it moved to the coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't move. It's actually in the book. You just need to read the chapters and get acquainted with the book. It's a fine read. It's not even more than 200 pages. It's less. So they use easy language, meaning there's no complex words, jargon of note. You know, if you're just a pure African, you can actually go through the book. Even matriculants, I think they do go through that book.
Is it part of the curriculum?
It should be. Let me just check. Things Fall Apart. It's easy to find. Actually, it's a book. Anyway, I don't want to. I don't want to research while you're still here. So you can continue with your question.
Yeah. Based on the book that you had given to the audience, which is Things Fall Apart. Yeah. Would you say this book has significantly impacted your approach towards life?
Yeah, it has.
And work?
It has.
Can you elaborate further on that?
I'm not sure when the rest of the audience were born, but in my time, we had...
Majority of our audience, just to make you aware, is between the age of 19 and 25.
Okay.
That's like 70% of the audience.
Okay, so
this is a teachable moment, guys.
Okay, in my time, the only thing I grew up learning in my history was Verwoerd, Milan,
DF Milan.
Yeah, Milan. DF Milan. We got to know about Van Riebeeck. We got to learn about Stellenbosch and the rest. I'm not choosing.
You're not being selective.
Yeah. So when it comes to who I am, it became a second. It's not a second nature, but is something that is put on a shelf to say it's not as important. This is important, and that became that made me rebel for a very long time. Like this is personal. I mean, by the age of 25, I didn't have my matric. That's just rebelling from what I'm reading. Because remember, you can't teach me something that's not me. And you ask, and you think I need to regurgitate that. It means you're selling your soul in one aspect. You understand? Because what is this that you're going to do if you don't know thyself? You don't know you. So what is this that you're going to achieve? By the time this book came, things fall apart. I was close to 30. The funny part is I passed my matric with no less than 70 or 80%. And mind you, 5 years prior to that, I couldn't average even 40%.
What changed?
The thing is, the book taught me about myself. Meaning, awukwazi ucinga ngaphansi kwamanzi. You are never meant for that. You are meant to walk on land and think on land. So if I'm going to say, let's park you being on land, think underwater. You'll never breathe, first of all. Meaning, if you can't breathe, you can't think.
Okay.
Yeah, so you need to be in the environment that makes you achieve whatever you need to achieve. You need those abilities that you're born with to come out for you to achieve whatever you need to achieve. So for me to get those marks, I could relate to the book. But now if you're going to give me Shakespeare, what is this that I'm going to relate to?
Othello.
You
Romeo and
know,
Juliet.
English by itself, they say it's the simplest language. The funny part is, if it's the simplest language, why is it all countries that doesn't have English as a native language, why are they working so hard to preserve their own language? The Spanish, they're not really making strides on learning English.
The
Japanese.
The Chinese are practically forcing everyone to learn Mandarin now.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's... If you understand that, you understand your fellow man, then you understand how to trade with them. The word globalization doesn't necessarily serve you to say you're going to succeed. It reinforces the capitalist way of conducting business. Understand? You're as good as Microsoft. If you can be given the tools in your own native language, you will be able to build a computer. You'll be able to use the soil. Remember, the same minerals that are in this phone currently are the same minerals. 90% of them, they are dug down here in Africa. So if I cross the Nile River or the Victoria Falls and I shake the hand, Abusheni, to that guy and I ask him, guy, can you give me this mineral? And we set up shop in Nyanga or Kukuletu, and we put a template for a motherboard. All those things is things that we can do without necessarily having to cross the ocean.
So all these things already exist.
They all exist. Remember, it's art. Art is
Expression.
Your culture, your religion,
How you eat, how you dress.
all those things, how you move, those are your basic. There's nothing that's hidden that you can't achieve. Everything that you need to achieve, you can achieve it if you put your mind to it. It's almost like reading a book for 10 years and then you say, this person is dumb or he doesn't understand or whatsoever. Firstly, in what language did you write the book in? Does he know the language? Does he know the code that you wrote the book in?
This is a very interesting outlook towards that.
You understand?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're going to tell me kids today don't know how to read,
what are you basing that on?
What are you basing it on? You understand? You first want a kid to learn English. He can hardly write his own language, his native language. Now you want him to learn English.
Another language.
That's not his. Then on top of that, you introduce new words, new jargon. Remember, languages, they split through jargon. Meaning science, you use certain terminologies. History, you use...
like vocabulary.
You understand? So by the time the kid catches up to that, that's half of his life gone. Remember, he still doesn't understand his own language.
So he's basically moving away from himself.
Exactly. So what is that child going to achieve out there? You telling the damn kid that he's got wings when he's got no wings. Like, you can fly. Anyway. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move. That's very interesting. You mentioned further on how it impacted your approach to life, and could you elaborate further on like work? And what would you define as work?
Okay. The work aspect it's nothing foreign from what you're doing or what you have learned or what you have inherited. The basic principle of a human being is to wake up, feed, be productive, and protect. Those components, unfortunately, they're not being taught properly. Firstly, if we're going to eliminate who you are, then your ability to hunt will be limited because you don't have the land. Therefore, you need to come up with a way to achieve all of that. Remember why we don't have kids getting to matric or going above that is based on the fact that they don't know who they are. You understand? Remember, if you don't have food, Tando, the last thing you'll be thinking about is what you want to be. Because the stomach is hungry right now. Now, you've been put through a system that would ensure that you don't have nothing. You'll never be nothing.
And it constantly reminds you.
Yeah. At the end of your lifetime, you still have nothing. What is this that you want to achieve? That's a personal goal. So I am not saying everybody should rebel or change their way of thinking. All I'm saying is have a purpose. That's all. I don't care if you walk blind, going somewhere. At least you're going somewhere. Then just wishing. Because a lot of people are doing that wishing right now. Maybe there's a mathematical term you could use to wish. But wish is in action. You have to do something. Practice. Do something. Whatever it is. I'm not sure how many people get to think. Remember, thinking is for when you're sleeping, you think. Before you sleep, you think. I'm going to wake up. Do I still have a white shirt to wear? To wear to work? No.
When am I eating tomorrow?
Yeah. Do I have enough funds on my pocket for me to do that? Have a plan. When you wake up, have a plan to do something. When the day is done, come back with a result. It could be numbers. I'm not fighting that. You could have achieved numbers. You could have done your traditional function or whatever that you needed to achieve. Those things are more important than a goal. And it's through repetition that you achieve something. Now, hopefully, they don't really put that under success. Because either way, you know, when you're living a life when you have lived for a very long time, what happens is through repetition, you learn where not to go at certain seasons. And that creates a way for you to be productive in such a way that you eliminate the use of energy in a wrong way. I'll make you an example. You can plow a land just before summer. That's a great idea, firstly, because you're going to, when summer comes, you'll have enough water on the soil, so you can put your seeds in. Then the water in the soil will make sure your plant germinates. Then from there, by the time you use water to water that land, your plant is already above it has broken through the soil to show you the leaves. You've saved water, you have saved energy, you have saved effort. Then the sun will just use that the energy, which is the hydrogen, just to boost the plant or to make it multiply, meaning you get fruits, veggies, whatever that you need. It's just a matter of timing. Now, having to implement that in real life, you need to understand where you are in terms of constellation. You can't be productive in winter. It's impossible to be productive in winter. Which business makes money in winter?
I'm trying to think of one on the top of my head.
Don't worry, take your time. Besides Microsoft and Google.
It's like only the tech companies.
Exactly. The nothingness makes money. The nothingness
in a season where
makes money.
Productivity.
Yeah.
Not even
the nothingness makes money. The nothingness makes money. So if I'm going to say to you, Tando, from January to June, it's your spiritual time. Then from September to December, it's your doing time. Why is your holiday on summer? Like, what are you trying to achieve in your life? You're supposed to have your holiday in the winter.
That's when there's no productivity.
There's no productivity. You don't have energy. The chances of you going to Ematlakeni are close to nothing because it's raining. There's no cap there. So you're going to stand on top of a grave and you're going to rain to death. So now having to say all of those things and telling you how to do things, what is it that you're going to achieve? That's that you need to know what time are you in? What time zone are you in?
Season?
What season are you in? What is this that you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? What's your drive? What do you have to lose? What not? You understand? All those dynamics, they come to play. But now there's a lot of everything and there's a lot of nothing. Now you have to surf through all of that to understand where you want to go. Understand? And other people are not as gifted to break those elements to the minute component, like to the minute element. Others, they just woke up with a whole lot of feelings and stuff. Today I want to smoke, then I want to eat, then I want to go meet somebody. We need to talk about that. That's all emotion driven. It has nothing to do with achievement.
So they let the emotions drive them.
Yeah, and then they wonder why things are falling apart. Sorry for the pun, but you need a plan in life. You need to understand what is time, how time works. Why do you have to do certain things? What is the outcome of that practice? Why is it that I need to eat at certain times? Why not this time? You understand? Why is it that I need to use so much energy to achieve certain things? The funny part is, if I would tell myself that, Luyanda, what is this that you have learned through life? I've learned a lot of things, but the funny thing is you need to do something.
What you've learned.
Yeah. You see, right now, especially here in South Africa, we're giving birth to billionaires and a lot of doctors. Before you die, you become a doctor somehow. Government bestows that on top of you. It doesn't matter what you were doing for centuries, like for decades. Like, we're going to give you category 2 or category 3. Everybody be talking about you. We're going to bestow you a doctorate, and we're going to use state funds to give you a ceremony of some sort. That's going to lead to you being on the ground, being buried by soil like the rest of us. Anyway, I'm not there yet. Let's talk about the living. So, in terms of work, whatever you're passionate about, follow that. Do it.
Follow your place.
Yeah. Don't move away from that. Remember, I'll give you an example. David Cow.
Comedian.
The comedian. David Cow, the comedian, has what he has. You can't move away from that. You can't shy away from that. He has achieved what he needed to achieve. He's got the numbers in the bank. He's got them. He's got the house. He's got everything. He's got contracts. He's got the movement. He can go anywhere at any time, from East Asia to America with ease. Now, if he had to move away from the initial plan of being funny, what would he have achieved?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's the simplest form of how to achieve something in your life. Not to be successful, but to achieve something. Then through repetition, you get to achieve everything that you want to achieve. If David Carr would say, hey, today I don't feel like making people laugh. The next week he takes 2 days off. Then the next one is tired. No, not today. Firstly, he's doing what he loves best. Now he's got contracts with Hollywood. Literally, he can write a script, write a movie, get funded, put that on cinema and make more millions, then come up with a different concept, make a shoe, whatsoever. All I'm saying is you need to start doing what you love best. If you are into IT, do IT. If you are into playing soccer, play soccer. When your career ends, coach a team. When that finishes, do something else. Buy a team. Then when that's finished, do development. When that's done, teach your child or his child or your whoever how to play football. You understand? In that sense, you get a whole lot of clues of how to succeed, but you seem to ignore them to follow a book. How? A book is there for you to it gives you reference. Listen, I walked from here to Cairo. It took me 15 days. I used this route. That's all the book is. It's not going to show you how to make money. No, it shows you the route to get from one point to another. That's it. But firstly, before you get to internalize that book or to learn from that book or to get whatever that you needed to do in terms of research, you need to be passionate about why you need that book. Why are you reading that book? You can't just read books because, no, my teacher said I need to go get a book to read. You're not living for your teacher. You need to have a bigger goal. You need something in your life to work. You need to wake up to do something. There's a reason why I'm using simple language when I tell, especially of late. This jargon that we use, the terminology that we be using a lot, it creates barriers. Those barriers is what happens when you're learning math through different grades. You find that you get given certain formulas, but the basics are not done. Therefore, the message gets distorted.
How will the formula work if
you literally don't know numbers? Then you want to build a motherboard for a computer. Like, how you gonna get that right? The simpler language that you use in life, the better you're going to understand certain things that are in your environment. Everything that you need in your life is within you. It's not outside you. You can make any example that contradicts that. I will chop off my left finger right here, right now. What is it that you're going to achieve without you? So why are you looking for
the key outside?
The key outside you. That's simple. It's simple. I mean, at its simplest form. In terms of understanding, why is it that you think the next great idea will come out of somebody else to you? It's never going to happen. Anyway, let me not move away from that. Let's stick to the topic.
Yeah. You went on deeper about work and what it actually means to you. And as we go on, if you could share one piece of advice with your younger self, what would it be?
There's this language of today, the intra-person, the interpersonal skills. Today you are in yourself, tomorrow you're with people, socializing and stuff, and how you find balance between those. Then you're going to say, this is how much I'm with. This is how much the outside world is with. This is my route through it and how I need to achieve whatever I need to achieve. You need to lose the laws of the system for you to be anything in life. How? You need to make a lot of mistakes. Explore. If there's something that I've learned through my life, a plan always changes. A plan will always change.
It never stays the same.
It never stays the same. It's the same way when you wake up, Tito, and you find the street that you'll be using is flooded. Will that stop you to get to work?
No, it won't.
You just use another route. That's life in general. We use a whole lot of time finding reasons not to do something. Then when we find that one reason that satisfies you in terms of a drug, that, okay, I can swallow this pill and I'll feel better. Then we play a victim, looking for other people to feel sorry for us. That's why the government has done the 350.
The SRT.
Yeah, for all the sorry people. Yeah, you're sorry. Yeah, it's 350. Yes, you also sorry. There you go, 350. Then you are also sorry. Thank you very much. Come back next month. I think I'm going to put 20 Rand on top of that next April if you vote for me. There's your 350 for now. Understand? So I'm not saying that the ideology is wrong, but it limits the capacity in Ingqondo.
It creates a bunch of lazy people.
Yeah, Ingqondo thrives in poverty. The best thing for you to produce your seed is produce a seed in poverty. In that sense, you get to have a thinking person than a person who receives. Name one person who was very poor, got rich, and his kid is still thinking that way. It's very few. And I can bet you 19.9999%, 90.99% of umntana ozalwa billionaire is going to amount to nothing. Any billionaire you can name it. Umntana billionaire is going to amount to nothing, that kid. Firstly, his parent is too busy to do anything, to install any type of mentality. By the time that kid gets to high school, he's already he or she has everything that he needs in his life. So where is the drive? Then he's going to explore certain things in life, like drugs and stuff like that, because intolerance or his ceiling in terms of experiences hasn't been met yet. The hunger for something. Through what? Through drug. By the time that kid is 30 or 40, he's nothing. Because he's got no drive. So I am not saying, again, do what I'm saying, like in terms of this podcast or how to interpret life the way that I'm doing. All I'm doing, I'm giving you something to think about. Just think about the things that I just said. Don't internalize them. Don't fight them. It's my own opinion. But just think, what is it that you want to achieve? What is it? Do you want numbers? Do you want the coin? Do you want a card that works? ATM? Or is that your goal?
What are you after?
Yeah. Remember, the deal with the devil comes with one request. One request. Not 20, is one request. Can I have a slice of bread? Oh, okay. You want a slice of bread? There you go. 20 years down the line, you'll be doing the same thing.
Slice of bread.
Slice of bread, that's it. You literally did nothing the rest of your life. I remember the last time I walked out of a job, I used to wake up 4 o'clock, come home at 8
in the evening.
And I was like, if this is my life, what is it that I'm going to achieve? The day I walked out of there, I never looked back. I never looked back. It doesn't matter what happens in my life. It's almost like there is no way that you can, as a man, you can leave your house before the crack of dawn and come back to sleep and think you're going to have a solid house. You're literally going against the universe. Like, you're going against the laws of nature. It's almost like you're wishing that your house is secured. You're wishing that your kid is asleep, or he ate, or he did his homework, or the wife cooked, or you understand, everything that makes you gave it away. Then you're saying you're successful because you brought in numbers. Because that's the only explanation you're going to give me. The only drug you're going to feed me, that you got
The numbers.
Yeah.
I got the numbers.
Today I did 174 rands, 75 cents. I did my work, and what? When was the last time you greeted your kid, or bathed your kid, or checked today his skin, he's got a pimple on his right a nose or something? Like, what is this? Why is your hair falling or something? Where you can you can spot your child limping. Say, what happened? No, I fell at school. You understand? Have that type of discussion. When you're playing, make sure ukuthi nidlala kundawo safe. Baniyabaleka idlalana engcini, so that can you see when you are
you don't scrape.
You understand? Those type of discussions, you take them for granted, but when your kid goes for skydiving and he forgets a parachute, then you're gonna blame the company.
But that's on you.
It's on you, bro. It's on you. You never did your basics. Your kid got caught up, and he got trampled on by abantu bebaleka because amapolice abebedubula. Then you wanna blame the tavern owner. For what?
What were your kid doing there in the first place?
Exactly. Stop running away from your responsibilities as a parent. Anyway, let's move on to your podcast. Yeah.
Guys, we do get off the trail sometimes, but yeah, we do have to get back.
Yeah.
Regardless, we are on our last question now, of the ones I had. So, yeah, you shared the piece of advice that you have with your younger self, and it's not running away from responsibility.
Exactly.
But being available.
And always try not to judge yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. Listen, you're going to fail 1,000 times before you get something out of life. Before ufunda ukwenza umlilo, uzawuqhwitha kayi-10. That's a ratio. Uzawuqhwitha ucima umlilo, uphinde udibanise inkuni, uzimise kakuhle. That's the basics of life. Don't be scared to fail. Try and try again.
Fail your way.
Yeah, you'll find your way. You'll find a way. You're going to learn. You don't need to make fire underneath kakakumoya or something. You need to learn how to position the fire, how to strike the match the correct way so you save the match, then you get the right flame, how to sustain that fire. Those are basics that you need to learn. But now moving away to something that you're not interested in, you try to get to space when you hardly can't walk, you can't even open a book, and you try to get to space. How's that going to work out? You're literally sitting. Actually, there are people who do that, especially those with phones. They sit in the bed sideways and they Google space and they get there.
They literally give it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
those are responsibilities. I think we have tackled that.
Yeah, that's the third one, and then we head towards the closing one. We have 10 more minutes. So how would you define success, and would you believe that you have achieved it?
Firstly, I don't think you'll ever achieve success. You can be content with what you have achieved,
but you cannot be successful.
You can never be successful. What is success? In which timeline is success? Being content with what you have achieved. I'll make you an example, Tito. You want to work to buy a pair of shoes. Then you buy that pair of shoes. Are you successful?
No, you're not.
That pair of shoes needs socks, it needs a tie, it needs a shirt, it needs an underwear, roll-on, shape. Now you're repeating the same thing over and over again. When are you successful? Those are basics, like literally, those are basics. You can be content with what you have achieved. I've got 4 pairs of shoes. I've got 3 jackets for winter. I've got a belt. I've got enough money to feed me, my kid, my wife. I've got money to pay electricity and all of that. Those are only tools, by the way. They're not success. If I took everything away from you, you're not going to stop breathing. You still breathe without those things. So they can't really define you as being successful. As I said, if you are successful, why can't you beat death? You have all the money.
Cheat death.
What? Beat death. If you're that good, beat it. Anyway.
This is all for the people that are getting the numbers, eh?
Yeah.
If you have...
if you are that good in whatever you're doing, why can't you beat death? Beat it. You're successful in it. And it's this coco. Then beat death. Anyway. Let's move on to the last one. Since we have
few moments.
No question. Oh, anything. If Tito, you feel that you have nothing to learn in life, I think these are my parting words. If you feel like you have nothing to learn in life, at a certain age you have nothing to learn or nothing to contribute, try not to waste other people's time. To me, that's why I feel with God on purpose, he cripples you, especially before you die, so that you don't waste other people's time while busy dying. Why not cripple you before, when you are on your peak, like within Zako? Because you have a lot to achieve. That energy that you're going to use, you're going to one day build a house, be a yard, whatsoever. So, if you understand that, you shouldn't waste people's time. Be prepared for everything. Use your time accordingly. If somebody wants to do something with you or build something with you, come prepared. Akhona ebuhlungu ndithi Tito mamela fethu ndinenkukhu eziten ngicela uncedise ukuzichitha ufike wena unxiba uVersace.
Yeah?
How are we going to be productive? No, I'm gonna use my numbers to summon people. Anyway, that's that for today. I want to thank you for your time. and for the time that you have given me to talk to your audience. Hopefully you guys have I've given a little bit of my time and my process of thinking in a sense, so that you guys gain 1, 2, or 3, things that you can use in your own lives in terms of getting that number or whatever that you want to achieve in your life.
Whether it's the coin.
Yeah, coin could be anything, Could be going to Spence.
What are you after?
Whatever you guys.
What are you after? Thank you very much, Dalu, for what you've done for us. This has been another impactful episode where I normally do most of the talking, but this is a new season basically, and the guest and his time is most important, and food for thought, man. Food for thought. Thank you very much, Dalu, for giving me your time. I hold it with so much treasure, because I know every moment I do get to be in your presence is one that I hold dear, because you always leave me with something to think about, something that I can take actually forward. And just the emphasis to my audience that this is a time for us to live now and not survive.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah, simplification, guys, is the ultimate sophistication.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the most sophisticated person, just simplify everything you do.
Exactly.
And as the Motivational Maniac, I'm signing out. Thank you.
Peace.